What's up, everybody? Back again on the Outlaw Nation Live. We are the ultimate SCHMOEDOWN after show, the only SCHMOEDOWN after show on the Outlaw Nation Network. I'll be one of your hosts for this episode. My name is Bugs with my girl from Miami, Soul. How you doing today, Soul?
Hello. Doing better today because yesterday was a very, very bad day for any Inter Miami fan. Our team sucks.
That is true, 100% correct. No
Yes.
challenges there from me. With our producer Mike as well. How you doing today, Mike?
Hello, I'm here.
Yes, you are, sir. Thank you very much.
President.
Yeah, so just to remind everyone, Streamlabs and Super Chats will be open for the full show. We don't have a guest on per se, but we are doing a Meet the Patreon section. I've just labeled it that. And yeah, so the pitching today will be the director, Alan Smithee. So submit your questions, for him. You can put them in the chat, of course, but obviously the best way is Streamlabs and Super Chats. And yeah, so obviously we'll be reviewing Friday Night Titans that dropped on Saturday due to some tech issues if you weren't aware. So that's why we're on today live on Sunday because of that delay. But anyway, enough of that. We are going to get to it, and then we'll get Alan Smithee on a bit later on in the show. But first of all, we do a shout out to previous comments on the previous episode. Sol has got them collected, so let's hear what people have to say. Sol.
First, we have from Justin Toner. He says, "This was a great episode. Marisol is such a great guest, and she was so cool answering the questions given to her. Look forward to the next time she's on. As for the Princess Bride trivia match, that was an amazing match. Holy hell, do you guys know that movie? It's one of my favorite movies, and you guys were nearly perfect. Bravo."
Yeah, shout out to the boys that played. It was a long match, 50 questions.
Mm-hmm.
We did have a win at the end of it, but check it out if you haven't seen it already. Great match.
And then we have Jeremy Miller saying, "Great show and Lady Justice and great Princess Bride match." Thank you, Jeremy. And then we have Joey Steeler going, "Awesome show as always. Great interview. I got the feeling that when Sam won, Christian was so happy / proud because it validated the old days of the SCHMOEDOWN."
Yeah, definitely. And we could say a bit of that as well with this week, what happened. So a bit of the old days coming back. What year is it? All them kind of lines.
Right.
And we did have another guest that was lined up for the show, but they can't come because they go to church on Sundays. So we had to reschedule that. No, just playing. But yeah, let's get to it. Obviously, Friday Night Titans. I believe it's episode 5. Correct me if I'm wrong, someone. Episode 5 starts off with a number of different cutscenes. We see Nick Harley and Jacoby Bancroft of Chaos Theory talking about getting back into the rock stars. Then we kind of cut to Hannah and Coy. How happy he is being obviously in the Mercs now, and then obviously Jesse Swift interrupting and calling him out, of course, and not happy. Plenty of digs about that Superman, the movie question, which you should never drop. You've always got a right to do that, sir. And and then we kind of cut to the match, the IG match initially, where we see Cushing and Mark on the desk. Nice to see Rich Cushing back, of course. Bateman interrupts, calls out Triple R, which is Rick the Raider Radis, and Rick wants a teams match, and we see he's got Brother Lomas as his team partner, and Ben goes on the look for a partner who has to be in the studio. And I did like the the Radis clock, Radis watch or whatever, so that was kind of cool. And then we get to the match where we have obviously Jesse Swift taking on Brandon Hanna. So two players looking to climb the rankings of the IG division. And going into the first round, we did in fact, I believe Sol wants to cover you cover this match, and I'll do the next one. How about that?
Sounds good to me. So going into round 1, again, very hard to try to get perfect rounds in these 10-question round 1s. I don't know if anyone other than Sam Levine has gotten used to answering 10 questions in a row in round 1, but Jesse Swift ends with 7 points, Brandon Hanna with 6 points. I have a question for you, Boggs. Did you know that? Did you hear that Star Wars question? Because you are our resident Star Wars guy here.
All right. Yes, I do remember it. The first line in what movie kind of thing. I wasn't 100% sure, but I would have guessed A New Hope. But you can just take my word for it because I've got no proof I can prove that. But I think I would have guessed that, yeah. But yeah, who knows?
And Mike, your thoughts on round 1?
I mean, it was a great showing from both guys. Yeah, the 10-question format puts a little bit of extra pressure because you think, okay, still got to get in. I'm almost to the home stretch, question 7. It's like, you got 3 more questions to go.
Right.
And also just, it's I've noticed with the questions themselves this year, it's the writing of the questions themselves. They've taken a different approach to how they write them. And it really makes you think very carefully about your answer, because sometimes you might think the way the question's presented, it can almost seem a little too obvious, and it makes you second guess yourself a little bit.
I particularly like which one is not in this movie, or kind of like, I like the different approach. It goes giving a little newness to this reboot year. But going into round 2, Jesse Swift goes first because he is up and he makes the decision. Spins fantasy sci-fi, was like, let me go again, and gets fantasy sci-fi. So it was in the cards for him. He misses the RoboCop question. Hannah steals it for the full 2 points. Then Brandon Hanna spins Middle Earth, decides to keep it. Part of the reason I think he kept it is because Rachel Cushing was there. It's kind of like can't spin away from Middle Earth when Rachel Cushing is on the desk. But he misses the 78 Lord of the Rings narrator question. Jesse does not get that steal. Seems like he was gonna say Gandalf and then changed his answer halfway through. And if he would have just stuck with what was with his gut, he might have been able to get that steal. Brendan Hanna then also missing Desolation of Smog. Legolas' father protecting Tauriel. Am I saying that correctly? For 600 years. Jesse does steal that for a point. So I'm going to throw it first to Mike here. Your thoughts first on round 2.
Round 2 in general was just tough questions. I mean, like, how many years? Okay, pick a number. I mean, and when you consider these are elves, I mean, that number can be in the hundreds. It could be in the thousands. I mean, we know that by the time we get to the Fellowship of the Ring, Elrond is well over 10,000 years old. So, I mean, it could have been anything.
Yeah.
And Middle Earth's a very tricky category because you see a lot of questions in that category that aren't necessarily in the movies. They get a little deep cut with some of those, like what is the name of the saddle that the guy uses on his sword? Because apparently they name everything in Lord of the Rings. And so yeah, it was a tough showing from both guys, but it was a tough round 2 all around.
And Bugs, your thoughts on round 2?
Yeah, when Rachel's on the desk, you kind of have to stick with, out of respect, right? You have to stick with Middle Earth. They both miss questions, of course. Both get a steal off each other, and I'm pretty impressed with Jesse Swift. So, coming off, I think he played Parker last, and then Amaru before that. Then he gets Sonia Brandon Hanna. So they're both clearly trying to climb up the rankings. Jesse's leading, after round 1 and round 2. So, nice to see him getting a call up anyway this year. I believe he lives, outside of the California state. So, yeah, nice to see him getting brought into play. And yeah, I'm not a little thrown off with Hannah's, his character. Let's say, obviously was heel last year. Now he's in the most faces faction. So getting some used to, it seems like he's scheming or doing some kind of play here where he's being overly nice. But if it pays off for him, if he feels more comfortable doing that, or all respect to him. But people seem to like it, so good for him. Maybe not as much pressure being a heel, but yeah, definitely interesting match so far. And yeah, before we go into round 3,
I wouldn't be surprised if there's a turn with Hannah, because I think too it's
he's
the
got it in him.
overly nice.
Yeah, he's got
it in him. Going into round 3, that heartbreaking for Jesse Swift, because Brandon Hanna does get the Gene Hackman in 3 Superman movies, 1 Superman the movie, not the motion picture. Jesse Swift misses all 3 of his round 3 questions after being up in round 1, after being up in round 2. That Spider-Verse question for that 2-pointer, super hard. And Philip Lord and Christopher Miller, like, you automatically associate Into the Spider-Verse with those 2, but they're the producers. They did not direct the movie. It's kind of the same with A Nightmare Before Christmas with Tim Burton. He didn't direct, he produced. So that was very, very tricky I see you, question writers. I see you. So I'll throw to Mike first. Your thoughts on round 3?
Jesse's round 3 questions were hard. Those were some tough questions. That Jurassic Park one in particular, like, there's any number of characters who could have said that. Honestly, my first question went to and I'm blanking on his name, but the guy in Jurassic World who's working the control room and he keeps getting yelled at by everybody. Like it just, there's so many characters that fit that kind of character that would say something like that. So yeah, I mean, Malcolm does too. It's just what a rough batch of third round questions. That was, I mean, I was scratching my head. I always play along with all the matches, teams, singles, IG, and in both matches today, I kind of broke even on both. I mean, this was a tough IG match all around, and round 3 really showed.
And Boggs, your thoughts?
Yeah, really felt for Jesse. Like I said, leading in round 1, round 2, and then missing all 3 in round 5. I don't know if it was anything to do with, it being his first studio match. Like he said, he did fly in where someone, as opposed to someone else who drives in. Is that anything? Maybe on top of that, he's doing character stuff as well. Wants to take down Koi and prove his worth. So maybe a bit of pressure on him there. Maybe he just should have got some of the points there. I don't know, but overall, really felt for him there. Hannah was clearly not at his best as well. I think he's played a lot better. But yeah, I'd say he's kind of a mid-tier IG player, and Jesse's kind of a lower tier IG player, just my opinion. Obviously, both kind of climb the rankings there, but obviously, I think it's a good sign when you don't play well and you get the win. So it shows that, you could play a lot better. So you can play at a high level, and I do think he'll do that this year. But yeah, overall, it's a good win for Hannah. You take that, like I said, when you don't play well and win, it's definitely a good sign. But Jesse, obviously 1 and 3, a bit rough, especially in IG. The division's small. We'll see where he goes from here, but yeah, I'm expecting big things from Hannah.
And also with Jesse, you can kind of see how much studying he's done and how much growth he's gotten from the first match that we saw him in to this match. I wouldn't be surprised if Jesse Swift really steps up his game, kind of like a Chanju, where like in the first match that we saw Chanju in, like he had a good showing, but it wasn't to the Chanju we see now. So I can kind of see Jesse Swift pushing forward that pushing that forward like Amaru, possibly going forward and finally getting his white whale, Brandon Hannah.
Yeah, still on Koi's case for not challenging that Super Mario question. I mean, I think he came on our show the next day, and I was like, yo, come on, someone's got to answer for that. But obviously, who do you guys see Brandon Hannah playing next? Because obviously, like I said, the IG division isn't massive, so I was thinking maybe Chance hasn't played in a while, or Moose Haas, or someone like mid upper tier now. Maybe Saul. I don't know if Saul was back this year. I believe he is. The baby got drafted, for the Den. Obviously, I know they've played a few times, but that's the kind of level he's at now. So, because we need to see him kind of climb over that. I think he's at 500 records, so climb over into the kind of upper echelon of the division. But Mike, how about you? Who do you see Hannah facing off next, or who do you like to see him?
Moose Haas is a good pick, actually. I hadn't considered him. I think that'd be a real interesting showing to see him. Or I mean, Chance is I think Chance is a good but obvious choice because it's Chance, and like you said, he hasn't played in a bit. But I think with a lot of the character work we're seeing, especially, I think Moose Haas would or Saul. I think Saul would be another good one too. But yeah, Moose Haas kind of has me like scratching my chin, like, hang on a sec, there's something there. Let's make that happen. Also, just Moose Haas. It's a great name. It's more of that, please.
How about you, Saul?
The second you said Saul, I was like, yes, immediately. Yes, I want to see him play more. I think him and in the Den is just perfect. I just love the fact too that faction is really going more heel this year. So you're going to see kind of like the heel work raging up, going up. And so, yeah, Saul, 100%, because you have the opposite with Hannah now as being super face. So you're going to have a super face versus a super heel.
Yeah, Better Call Saul. I think that's my hashtag. Hashtag that in the chat, guys. Better Call Saul. You guys in the chat as well think Hannah will play next. But moving on to the main event. where we see Rick the Rager Radis and Lomas, brother Lomas, of course, coming in. Lomas in color, and by the way, that is the best thing I've seen in last season or the digital age. To come out of the digital age is Rick Radis's theme song. It's just sick. It's just sick. And Lomi's coming out and him, Triple R dancing, and he's like, no, I can't dance. And then he kind of just dances along with it. They should play into that more. I really thought it was funny. And nice team name, The Reckoning. And they're at the desk waiting for Bateman's partner, and she didn't have one, and then rolls back the years and brings out dastardly Andrew Guy and reunite Team Action. Obviously, I think this is season 5 was the last time they played. And we all know that Guy's a good team player. So I kind of knew from there the Reckoning was in trouble. Guys hyped up, excited to be back with Ben. And where's the belts and all that. So yeah, bringing that back. But first of all, before we get into the match, what do you guys think of seeing the reuniting of Team Action? I see people kind of tripping out on Twitter, super excited, even emotional, dare I say, for some people. So what do you think, Sol, about Team Action reunite?
First, going back to like Rick the Rager Radis and Brother Lomas dancing together. First, they need to do that every single time. And it reminded me of Roca and JTE dancing in one of their digital matches. Like I immediately just got flashback to that.
It's the Finstock guys, right?
Yeah, JTE kind of like rhythm. Doing this and like Roca doing that. It's absolutely hilarious. More of that. Everyone should dance. Like Chandru, everyone. Let's have all the dancing. But yeah, Team Action. I want whatever Andrew Guy like took before the match, the energy that man had throughout the entire match. I was like, I need that for my days to be able to function and do what I need to do, because he like was not even on 10, on 11 during the match. And just seeing the two of them together, my favorite comment of someone there for the YouTube channel was someone says, it took Andrew Guy to actually have me root for Ben Bateman, because they were like, oh, I hate Ben Bateman, but seeing them together kind of like, you kind of want to root for them a little bit, even though they're awful like on the heel side. So cocaine, one hell of a drug.
Right.
But yeah, it was very interesting to see them back again.
Yeah, kind of years to, we've been waiting a long time for that, as SCHMOEDOWN fans, because they definitely increased my interest in the league, seeing them, people absolutely hated their guts. But you guys know, I love my heels. I love my controversial people. So them guys, how they used to be, I love it. And, when they, they come back at, and Mike's playing with his nose. Good job he had shades on. That's what I'll say as well. But no, that's the energy that the game needs. In a studio, it must be hard to play against that as well. This guy's smack talking you. He's taking shots at you. He's running around this, studio, and playing against two rookies who held their own character wise and giving them smack back as well. I thought that was great. I think. Radis was saying, who are you going to call, your Uber driver? You can't bring it, like, just that's witty stuff, So I was impressed by both teams. But Mike, what are your thoughts seeing Team Action reunited after all these years?
I have mixed feelings. I love Andrew Guy, dastardly Drew Guy, like just barely overflows like what, like my tolerance, like he goes just a little too far for me. And I know like that's a personal taste thing. I'm not saying it's good or bad. It's like it's just a little too much for me. But with it being the first season back in a studio in 2 years, you've got Radis and Lomas, who are entertaining but are still very chill, very low energy, and Bateman is Mr. Too Cool for School, so he's also very chill, very. So to have that juxtaposition, I think we were talking in a Discord earlier about this, and I think Maria brought this up. Guy suddenly made me realize how small the space they're in is, because the way the lights are with that backdrop, it makes it look like there's more space behind them. And then when I watched them take 2 steps back and run into the wall, I was like, oh, it's a small room. Oh, okay, I didn't realize that. But yeah, to see kind of the that sudden injection of energy again, like again, it's that what year are we in? Like this feels like year 5 of the SCHMOEDOWN, when team action was on the rise. So it was a moment. It was a good moment. I'm not sure about the longevity of it because I also really like Guy on the Desk. So
yeah, I hear that. Yeah, I definitely prefer him with the action guys because they bring in like an unpredictability thing. Like you don't know if one of them is going to get tackled, like as in the Reckoning boys, or and I like that spontaneity of it. So I'm glad they're back. I hope Guy does stay in teams as well. I know he's kind of alluding that it's a one-off thing. Oh no, I'm going to help him as manager, but I do would like him to stay because they definitely bring a unique energy that no one else is bringing in the game right now. But let's just run through the match quickly. So perfect from team action, getting all 10 questions and the bonus. Apparently that was the first time guys done that, and obviously hence the celebration. Rage Radis also going perfect as well, and also getting his bonus. To be fair, Lomas only missing the one question himself. So excellent start all around, and great start to the match. And going into the second round, we did see them defer. The Reckoning goes first, spins off 2010's land on Rocky. Bit hit and miss. They got 6 points, and then team action missed 1 steal, and they got the second one for 2 points. The Rocky 5 question, and then team action go next, land on Tom Cruise. They did go perfect in that round. They go multiple choice a couple of times, but they did lead that round 32-26. And then Reckoning were obviously behind, so they had to go first. Got their 2-point question, the mummy, which Ken was struggling to pronounce the name and all that. So that was a bit funny. And then obviously getting a few good men question. So they both get their individual questions, and then they missed the 5-point and the Denzel Fences question. Team action wins by TKO. So no surprise for me. A much more experienced team, more experience in character stuff, in play, in like I said, talking smack, and just like I said, overall, just like a little explosion of energy on one side in particular. So yeah, in particular, like I said, Radis play fantastic. I felt overall, but a bit of a mismatch. Thinking about it in terms of Bateman being a former singles champ, but that's no dig at the Reckoning because that's why they enter the league. They want to play these kind of matches against these kind of folks. So that was credit to them, but. Overall, much deserved winners, and I thought they played great. But Mike, please, overall thoughts on the match, how team action played, and of course the Reckoning as well, because they held their own, scoring over 30 points as well. I think 32-31 was overall score. But yeah, overall thoughts on the match.
I mean, the match itself was great. I mean, when they were in their heyday, I mean, people like to think of team action as being just this kind of big personality. These guys know their stuff. They're not a gimmick. They're not one-trick ponies. There was honestly, I remember like the last year they were together, they got action adventure like every game they played and blew it every time. People were starting to say like, should they change their name? But because they were really showing what their knowledge was in other things as well. They didn't just fit into a niche. And yeah, Radis and Lomas coming in as these new guys in this new team against one of the teams that really boosted the SCHMOEDOWN's fan base. They held their own both in trivia and in zingers. I'm sorry, Lomas had the best joke of the night when he said that the guy, you now have to marry that desk. Even Guy was like, that's good. Like, I laughed until I thought I was going to throw up. That was so funny. I was so impressed, when Guy was running around the studio and Radis was like, get back over there. Like they were playing into it so well. So my thoughts on Guy aside, like this is everything I love about the SCHMOEDOWN. So it was, again, like I feel like I've said that every week. It's like every week I get a moment or two where it's like, this is what got me into the SCHMOEDOWN, and we're getting more and more of that back with them, especially now going back to studio matches.
Yeah, for sure. And people in the chat saying hope Guy's not kind of over, season 8 over, but I don't think so. I mean, I presume he had so much fun during that match that And Christian obviously must have seen the online reaction and stuff, so I'm presuming he's going to be in some of the team matches as well, and definitely like free for all, that kind of thing, because he's had good showings in free for all before, so we'll see. But so what do you think overall? Team action, happy or not? They're back, and the reckoning as well, how they played. What are your thoughts?
They 100% need to stay a team this year, especially just the way the excitement that you see online of the fan base, like specifically about this match. And this match really shows why playing in the studio is so much fun and so important, because you're not going to get Guy running around on like the digital era, which there's some great digital matches. And I personally liked a lot of the stuff that happened in the digital era. But this was showing, this is why studio or live in person is like king for the SCHMOEDOWN. Now, I love them as a team, and I don't like Ben Bateman. You guys know this. You got his giant ass board, him throwing the regular board. Like, I was just like, oh my God, Ben, really? Okay, here we go. You're doing your regular antics. But you know me, I also like the heels. I just don't like Ben Bateman. But I did enjoy them as a team. And I really hope that Radis and Brother Lomas are together. That line by Lomas was hilarious. Ellis later saying that Andrew Guy in a few months is going to have a little desk. So like was also a hilarious moment there. Just the wittiness that you get from these four guys who were playing, and then Ken and Ellis on the desk. Like, it was just perfect.
Yeah, and like, we're talking about Guy, and seeing him in the digital when he did have that few matches, that little run that he had in the digital matches, where I think he had that team with Ethan, and just the whole SCHMOEDOWN thing. I was like, no, that's like, for me, that just didn't work. And seeing him, how much fun he had in the studio. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, sometimes it was actually hard to hear everybody, because Drew and Ben was so loud, just being hyper and being the team actions things, and I couldn't always hear the banter and the announcers and stuff. But they have a unique energy, right, that no one else has. So I know people are saying in the chat that it's a one-off match, but I really hope it's not, because they do, they can play, they can entertain, they can do the promo, whatever, they can talk smack. So throw them in against a top contender, and we see what happens. Like I definitely want to see them back, to be honest, because they're kind of too good of entertainers to just leave by the wayside. But yeah, Mike, do you see team action playing again, or is that a one-off?
I really don't know. If they had come in and just not jived and been rusty and just not had like the old magic, I could totally see this being a one-off and been like, tried, this is why we broke up, whatever. It was like they hadn't lost a step. I mean, it was like they hadn't lost a step. And so I don't know, because I don't know what they planned on doing with these guys, but with as strong a showing as they had, if they weren't planning on keeping them together, I think they're probably taking another look at it now. So I wouldn't be shocked if we had them playing another match like beginning of next month or something, like kind of stagger it a little bit and then have them kind of come back, like how it seems like they're doing with Sam right now, where it's like he's back, he's not playing all the time, but he's playing on his level. So now that we can see that they can still hang at where they used to be, let's give them a match against a team that isn't quite as new.
Right.
I think somebody said Shazam at one point in the chat here. Throw them up against Shazam. Let's see what happens.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, definitely. They're too fun. They're too fun not to just throw in again. So I know that they maybe even to put another team over, that kind of thing. So yeah, definitely worth another shot, I think. But so, do you want to see team action again?
100%.
Yeah, I think most people do. I think maybe they were testing the waters, but yeah, they're too funny. They're too fun not to see again. And like I said, they can play as well. But yeah, just to finish off this, Friday Night Titans was a cutscene with Chaos Theory trying to approach Roxy. Let's reunite the stars back. Forget Chandru, forget Mr. Owen, all this stuff. But we see how long Chandru's hair is, like, because I was like, it's longer than Roxy. It's like crazy, right? And then we see Nick double cross Jacoby Bancroft there and join the Stars. Fills out their team, and of course leaves Bancroft on his own. So my thoughts from there is, I think maybe Bancroft obviously will join another faction. Clearly he's into this teams thing. I think Swag is full at the minute, but I automatically thought Adam Collins. I believe they played against Deception. Both fan leaguers. For some reason, I was warm in that way. Other than that, I don't know. But Mike, any thoughts on the Chaos Theory boys being split up? Obviously, Roxy. Nick aligned himself with the Stars and Roxy. Where do you see Jacob Bancroft going from here?
Oh, I don't know. As far as where he's going, I have no idea. It's so hard to predict. I mean, we've seen such big shakeups with these factions in the first few weeks of Friday Night Titans now. I can't. It's like Game of Thrones. It's like, don't get attached to anybody. They'll probably be dead next episode. I think this kind of feeds into my theory that we might be seeing like an end to either certain factions or factions altogether, the way things have kind of been exploding from a story perspective. It's like, is this the beginning of the end of this? Like, I don't know. It's at this, like I said, at this point, it's so hard to predict anything anymore.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think then? So obviously Nick left Chaos Theory, joins the Rockstars. He might join a team with Ethan potentially. Where do you see Bancroft going? Or what's the plan there? Or what are your thoughts?
I'm not sure where Bancroft will go, but Roxy is just loving breaking people's hearts this season, breaking up Chaos Theory. The thought of possibly having Erwin and Janine as a team together, that short-lived moment that we had, and that was broken before us. So I don't know, but it's kind of like, who's going to be the most heel faction this year? It could be with Roxy. It could be the Den. Who knows what's going to happen going forward? Who are we going to hate the most this year?
Yeah, I just thought as well, maybe he could join potentially Corruption. Obviously, Marisol's looking for a teammate. He's got this big kind of, thing about him being, one of the best fan league players to ever play. So obviously Marisol's a fan league, and maybe they know each other from back in the day. I don't know. But interesting developments, I'm sure we'll see this week. Obviously, we know they said that, Radis will play against Bateman is on the headliner of Friday Night Titans next week. But who's the undercard? Maybe Bancroft, maybe Harley, maybe someone else. Maybe they play each other. Who knows? But yes, that was this week's. But now we do a segment called Meet the Patreon. So we are going to bring him on. It is the director, Alan Smithee. Come on down.
Woo!
Oh,
hey guys. Oh, I'm sorry. That was just, finishing a fruit roll up. That was just the sound of a fruit roll up unwinding. Anyway, how's it going, guys?
Did you share that with Andrew Guy?
He actually sent it to me earlier today, so it's one of his favorite fruit roll-ups. Yeah. Anyway,
sure.
Glad to be here, though. Boggs, Soul, Mike, how's it going? Good to see everybody.
Just basking in the glory of your celebrity greatness, one of the greatest directors to ever live, Alan Smithee.
Wow, thank you. Most people actually don't want to interview me on their shows, so this is a real treat. I mean, most people want to use my films as like a how not to make movies kind of thing, and so they don't really want to talk to me directly. Anyway.
Oh, no, it's our pleasure, sir. So welcome to the Outlaw Nation and the Ultimate Schmoedown After Show. First question, how did you first discover the Schmoedown and the Outlaw Nation as an offspring of it? So how did you, what brought you to it?
Well, in 2019, at the end of the year, that was The Rise of Skywalker coming out. And I was watching a lot of Rise of Skywalker YouTube videos to kind of figure out what was going on with this movie. And all of a sudden, the algorithm pointed me to the Force Bros versus the Jedi Council Schmoedown match, right? And I checked that thing out, and I've pretty much been a fan ever since. And as far as the Outlaw Nation goes, like, obviously, when you're learning about the Schmoedown, Roca is like one of the number one people you see on the posters in matches. He stands out above all the rest. And one day he just plop the StreamYard link into his chat. I mean, not a lot of people do that. You know, just letting random strangers come onto your show. Come on. So I've been into the Outlaw Nation ever since then too.
So the Rise
Lovely,
of
lovely.
Skywalker did something good. Wow.
Yeah. I had to watch like Doomcock videos occasionally on that one, but then I learned that he's a little scary for me, even for me. But anyway.
Okay. So can I ask, who's your maybe favorite player? Favorite team, or favorite player, favorite match? Let's go with that.
Wow, that's I gotta say my favorite player is John Roca. I love the character work the man does, but because John is retired, I'll say that maybe my second favorite is Lon Harris, also because of the character work, the professor, the delinquent. It's some pretty good stuff. As far as my favorite match goes, I mean, watching Guy beat Dan Murrell and then jump up on the desk at the end of that thing, that was a pretty unexpected situation. And since a Guy is back, I guess I'll highlight him in this case and say that is one of my favorite matches. You know, it's fun to see things go in a completely haywire. You didn't think that would happen. And he also didn't like fall over when he jumped up on the desk, which could have happened. Like whatever he was standing on could have broke, he could have fallen. It would have been ugly. So.
Right. Same energy, except the suit's a little tighter. That's what I noticed. But anyway, so any question for the world famous director, Alan Smithee?
Yeah, we are here with a world famous director, and I want to know what's your favorite movie that you have directed?
Oh, well, Blood-Sucking Pharaohs from Pittsburgh is quite a combination of a lot of things. And, you know, the question of why Pittsburgh? And it's like, why not? Pittsburgh is a rockin' town. And we threw in some Egyptian vampires. And we made a fun flick, you know. It was very entertaining. So that's probably my favorite. It's one of the schlockier films I've directed. So
can't say that I've seen that one.
Check it out. I'll send you a free copy. No one's willing to pay for it. So I'll just send you a
perfect.
So we'll go with Mike next. Any question for the director?
How did the vampires get there? That's what I want to know. I got to see this movie too. Apparently,
well, there was a Egyptian tour going around the country at various museums, and it came to Pittsburgh. And essentially, that's where the pharaoh vampires come out of the mummy caskets. You know, you don't need your brain to be a vampire. So the whole mummy thing, where they they take your brain out your nose, that's positive.
So
how's it going, Mike? By the way, I hear we might be playing a few trivia matches in the future, Mike Shea. So,
well, I'll be
just
playing.
Get ready. Why aren't you studying right now? That's what I want to know.
I'm interviewing you. I'll be playing. You'll be losing. That's how it's going to go.
Yeah, I guess.
So just so we're clear.
Maybe.
Just so.
But yeah,
anyway,
I've also.
Sorry for interrupting. What was your?
I was going to say, I've also seen you in the background of some matches here and there. I believe you're at Spectacular as well. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I was at Spectacular. Christian, he likes to have celebrities mixed in with the regulars.
Of course,
it adds a little bit of like, oh, I recognize that guy. So anyway. Thank you.
Which is your favorite event that you've been to?
You know, there have been a few of the Cantina events Marisol versus Ethan, I think was a huge moment and lots of just excitement. I love Ethan. I love Marisol. I think they're both amazing players. And the Cantina matches were special because there were only like 40 or so fans there. It wasn't like Spectacular. It was a much more intimate moment. And it was a lot of fun. And apparently Mark Ellis thinks I'm funny. I don't know. You know, that's always a good sign when a comedian guy either that or he's making fun of my crappy movies. I can't tell, but
hey, at least you're there. You know, you got the comp ticket, so that's the main thing.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So, Mike, we have a little game that we play with our patrons. Can we introduce this game, please?
Yes, we can. We're going to play using what's called pod decks, which is like a podcast interview decks of cards with different genres and things like that. And I'm going to be coming to you from the Funny Films deck here on the app.
Is that comedy? Sorry, comedy.
Let's see. We did that one last time. So I'm going to pull from the movie night deck. Since we did the Funny Films one last time, I don't want to ask you the same questions.
Is this trivia or just like questions I get to answer?
Questions in general. Apparently, he doesn't watch the show, guys.
Don't use your whiteboard. Don't worry.
That's so let's start with like what are 3 movies you can think of that have just awesome soundtracks?
Oh, awesome soundtracks. Let's see. I grew up in Santa Cruz when The Lost Boys was being made, and The Lost Boys is like a fantastic soundtrack movie. From beginning to end, it like sets the tone of the film, and I would listen to that one over and over again. Then you got one. Let me just throw this out there: Top Gun. Come on, all of those Highway to the Danger Zone, Playing with the Boys. I mean, watching dudes play volleyball with no shirts on would not have been the same without that Kenny Loggins action in the background. So, am I right? Was that Kenny Loggins?
Yeah, it was Kenny
And then a third one. Oh boy. I mean, I didn't even love the movie when I was younger, but the Dirty Dancing soundtrack is just hit after hit after hit. It's totally just gets you in the mindset. And I actually heard that soundtrack more. I'd never seen the movie, and now I've seen the movie a couple times, and I'm like, it's a good movie. The better soundtrack. Nobody put Smithee in the corner.
That's the same with Space Jam. Space Jam soundtrack. Wicked.
Yeah.
All right. I believe I can fly.
I knew someone was going to do that. So yeah.
Well, what are your 3 bogs?
I'm not even joking. I might put Space Jam there.
All right.
Soundtrack. That's the one that came to my head. I'll get back to you, Mike. I don't know.
So what you
I
got?
have to do some research.
So my mind originally went scores, and then
I thought you were going to say my mind's telling me no.
Yeah.
No.
Now I have that stuck in my head.
But,
so I'm gonna go again. Space Jams is a great choice that I didn't even think about until Bog said it. But I'm gonna go with 3 superhero movies actually. So Into the Spider-Verse has a great soundtrack. Black Panther has a great soundtrack run by Kendrick Lamar, and then the soundtrack that is way better than the movie, the first Suicide Squad.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. All right.
That's a good pick.
Because sometimes a not so hot movie, it doesn't matter if the music's there, it's there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like some of the Rush Hour movies as well. Like they have good soundtracks. Just random movies like that, I'd say. But yeah, it's a good question. I need to get my list. What about you, Mike?
Well, so for me, like kind of in the same boat as Soul, like there's a lot of movies that came out when I was growing up that were crap, but the soundtracks were great, especially for like what I was listening to at the time, which is a lot of like early 2000s, like, radio hard rock and stuff. So like 2003's Daredevil, if you love like, Drowning Pool and Fuel and Seether and Evanescence and all that, like great soundtrack. The first Transformers was kind of the same way, had, killer tracks from like Linkin Park, Avenged Sevenfold, Soundgarden. And then I got to go with like the one that no one's mentioned. I'm kind of shocked. Freaking Disney's Tarzan.
Ooh, yep.
Phil Collins did things we didn't deserve with that soundtrack. It's so good. He got NSYNC involved at one point in the when he was doing the where they're taking apart the campsite. His version on the CD, because I still have the CD, is him and the guys in NSYNC scatting the whole thing, and it's amazing. It's fantastic.
Nice.
I will say though, because my mind went first to scores, favorite movie score.
Oh man,
I mean that's endless.
Over the years, I have a massive appreciation for the Lord of the Rings scores by Howard Shore. And I love those movies. Those are some of my favorite all times. And in the past, I would have said other things like John Williams kind of things or Danny Elfman. But I don't know, man. Those Lord of the Rings movies, those scores hit drama. There's some seriously dramatic music in there and also very beautiful music too. So
my bias
too serious.
Yeah, my biased answer, because I actually played this in band, is actually the How to Train Your Dragon score.
Oh, cool.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
All right. I've seen all those movies, and there's a show I watch sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many. Raiders of the Lost Ark, obviously Star Wars. Anything Hans Zimmer does, pretty much. Man of Steel was one of my favorite soundtracks. There we go, Smithy. Lord of the Rings, obviously, that's up there as well. Yeah, I mean, there's countless, to be honest. I don't have a particular one, But yeah, there's plenty. Lawrence of Arabia, that's amazing. List is endless. But what are you saying, Mike?
Yeah, this is another one. It's like it's hard to pick one favorite. I mean, like Blade Runner is my favorite movie, and a lot of that's because of Vangelis's synth score is incredible. But even like, and this might be a bit of recency bias, but like I love anything Michael Giacchino touches, and his score for the Batman is unreal. Like I have every score album on my phone he's ever put out, whether it's Coco, Incredible, Star Trek, Jurassic World, whatever. But his score for the Batman is like it's on that like Vangelis Blade Runner level of like you can listen to the score and know exactly what's going on in whatever part of the movie this is supposed to be. Like, yeah, it's going older and going like came out like 3 weeks ago. Is where I'm at right now.
All right. In the old days, you used to have to buy the soundtrack, but now you can just look it up on YouTube and get it for free. Anyway.
That's true. Here's a good nostalgic question for everybody. This is a fun one to talk about. What's the first movie you remember seeing in a movie theater? Let's start with Smithy.
I guess it was Empire Strikes Back, but I was 4 and I had no idea what was going on, and it didn't affect me the way because I didn't remember Star Wars. I had seen other movies in the theater when I was a baby, and my parents took me. But yeah, that movie, I was just like, what's going on? Who are these people? Like, I have no idea. And by the time the movie was over, I was just very confused. It's also weird that one of the first movies you see and remember has a cliffhanger ending where it doesn't end. And you're like, wait, the bad guys won. What's going on? But anyway.
And it's a sequel.
Yeah. So it's like, but I love it now.
What about you, Box?
I believe it was Jurassic Park. But I remember being too young, and I remember I went with like my uncle, and he took like my little brother and my auntie, and I remember hiding behind like my uncle's arm, like through watching like under it from like beneath his arm, like at the screen, being so scared. But Jurassic Park was the first time I went to theaters. Yeah,
that's a very loud movie at the time. That was like one of the new like sound, and it's got to be scary.
Of course,
when you're a kid.
I went and saw the 20th anniversary or 25th anniversary when they showed it at like a Fathom event at Cinemark, and I never saw it in theaters growing up. My mom wouldn't let me go see it because I was about the same age as Boggs, but woof, yeah, seeing it like modern day hardcore surround sound
holds up. Yeah.
Woo. Soul, what about you?
I'm pretty sure I went to the movies before this, but I can only remember, and I checked the release dates, and they're all 2002, so I don't know which one is first, but Attack of the Clones, Lilo and Stitch, and Chamber of Secrets for Harry Potter.
Wow.
So I don't know which one came out first, but that year, 2002, I remember that in my memory. I'm for sure I went to the movie theaters before then, because I would have been, in 2002, I would have been 8.
Hey, Empire Strikes Back, Attack of the Clones, they're kind of similar.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure you were equally confused.
Sounds good.
It's like, what's going on?
I actually saw Phantom Menace way later because I saw Attack of the Clones, and then I saw Revenge of the Sith, and I saw the original trilogy, and I saw Phantom Menace after that. So to me, like, it was like my least favorite because it was the one I saw last when I was younger.
Mine was Beauty and the Beast, the good one. I remember I have such a fond. My mom, I remember, got me this like Mickey Mouse themed like cassette player because it was 93, and she got me the soundtrack on a little cassette. I listened to it so much the tape stopped, like it wore out the tape.
Wow.
I just listened to it all the time. That or my mom broke it, so I would stop listening to it. I'm very loud on that one because I had a couple of tapes that happened to that I always would have her play in the car, and she was like, "It broke," and I was like, now that I'm in my 30s, I look back and I'm like, I don't know if that's
You're
true,
like, it broke after you threw it out the window and ran over it with your car.
Exactly.
That's when it broke.
But yeah, the Beauty and the Beast. I mean, and talk about a landmark film to be the first thing you see in theaters for what that movie did. Yeah,
sure.
It was so great.
A tale as old as time. But yeah, if the everyone in
Sing it, Boggs. I
Everyone-
want to hear it sung, not spoken.
no, I can't do that. I can't show you guys up like that. You know, I don't want to get don't want to get marked.
You don't wanna
I
get
mean,
a
I got
strike.
Boggs to sing A Whole New World
Shoot.
once, and I don't think he'll ever do it again.
So that's the Outlaw Nation secret. But I see people in the chat putting there. One's in. I see Return of the Jedi, The Lion King, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But yeah, keep them coming. Let's see your guys' ones as well. But Mike, what's the next?
Yeah, we'll do one more of these. And I think we got some Discord questions for world famous director Alan Smithee that I'm going to beat in trivia. Let's see here.
I didn't hear that last part.
Let's see. I'm trying to find like one that's not like just too similar. Okay.
How much do you charge for an autograph?
That's
Favorite color? Oh, that's $30.
If you could watch any movie tonight, like as soon as you get off this show, go watch one movie, what would it be and who would you want to watch it with?
Ooh, wow, that's a pretty good question. I should try to pick something I haven't seen, maybe, okay, I'll admit it. I haven't seen the Batman yet. And if that could be on my TV here at home and I could watch it over 2 nights so that I could watch the first half and the second half, and that kind of thing. And I would love to watch it with all of you guys.
Aww.
Yes, that's right. I want to watch it with Mike, Soul, and Boggs. And John Barr, if he's still here. Look at that. He's still around. He might be able to come along, you know. Have you guys all seen the Batman yet?
Yes.
I have not.
Soul has not. Maybe I'd take Soul to see some hardcore horror movie. Texas
And
Chainsaw
this will be
Massacre.
me the whole time.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre tonight. Okay, we're going to watch along on the Discord, and no problem.
You couldn't pay her to.
Leatherface, yeah. Leatherface loves you. That's why he wants to cut you up. It's
I mean,
a way of showing that he loves you.
And I think that's at the level of horror that I'll stay at. It's like,
But I do want to see the Batman. I just can't necessarily handle too lengthy of movies anymore in the theater. So I'd love watching them at home and split it up a couple nights, you know, and we'll see what happens. But anyway.
What about you, Boggs?
Depends what mood I'm in, what time of the day it is, if it's a weekend, if you know. For me now it's quite late in the UK, so I'd probably just put something silly to go to watch whilst falling asleep. So some comedy, late night comedy, like, I don't know, Will Ferrell movie or something like that, something silly that you kind of just like laugh and fall asleep to. So something that you don't have to fully concentrate on too much. So something like that.
It's a good point, Tishka. Makes, you know.
So what about you?
I don't really have an answer, so I'm gonna have a funny asshole answer, and I'm gonna have Mike and Boggs watch The Wedding Crashers with me.
Sure.
Breaking news: Soul's been fired from the Ultimate SCHMOEDOWN after show.
Dang. Don't want to fire anyone. Don't want to get anyone fired.
We're watching it
on air. Hey, I did see Death on the Nile last night, and it's pretty good. I liked it, and that's available on HBO Max. Anyway.
Oh, it is.
I think it is.
Oh shit! I'm watching that tonight. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't want to watch that.
The Butler did it. No,
that's not my answer though. It might be my new answer. I don't know. For me, it would probably be kind of like I've had such a busy week, and I need to laugh and unwind. So it would probably be. I'm gonna say something really sappy, and it's gonna kill the mood. But I want to watch Galaxy Quest with my dad.
No way, that doesn't kill the mood. Galaxy Quest is awesome.
Great.
My dad like got me into all the sci-fi and all that stuff growing up.
Yeah.
And he was the biggest Trekkie. Loved Galaxy Quest. We got him the anniversary DVD for his birthday one year where you can watch the whole movie where all the dialogue has been replaced with the alien language going, which is funny for like 30 seconds, and it's annoying.
And it's like the whole movie is like this.
Again. Yeah.
You should read about that movie because I believe it was originally supposed to be a Harold Ramis movie, or
I've researched that movie is I worship that movie. Man. It was supposed to be Harold Ramis was originally attached to do it, and
when it was going to be more like a rated R comedy, just an irreverent comedy when they were doing it with Harold Ramis, but then the new people made it into the excellent story that we all love today. Still.
I don't think that. I think it would have been funny, but I don't think it would have been as good. I think Galaxy
Yeah.
Quest works as well as it does because it's just got enough tongue in cheek that it's still good. Because there's some stuff that they cut out. Like when you watch the movie, you can blatantly see in one scene, Sigourney Weaver says "fuck that," and they had her dub over it, but her mouth clearly says, like, it's so obvious.
Right.
You can tell that and there's some deleted scenes too. You can tell that they cut out because they were trying to be not too adult with it, but
Sure. Those Mr. Falcons.
yeah,
That's my favorite dub over mine. Mr. Falcon. Yippee
I've had
ki
it. What is it that they do? I forget what it was they did with Snakes on a Plane, where he was like, I've had it with these
Mother scratching.
these monkey scratching snakes on this something. It was
Monday to Friday plane.
Monday to Friday plane. It was something so stupid like that it makes it funny. So,
Hey, before we move on, I just wanted to say happy birthday to the Lady Outlaw.
Oh yes, happy birthday, Lady Outlaw.
Boom. How did I know that?
that's some stalker shit right there, Smithy.
I'm into the zeitgeist. Twitter is not, well, it is kind of stalking on Twitter.
I don't have a happy birthday sound effect. Darn
Yeah.
it. Okay.
Okay.
Well, I'll just give her a
cool. He's only not watching my interview right now because he's busy with the Lady Outlaw's birthday. Otherwise,
Correct.
he would be here asking me questions directly.
Absolutely.
That is
100%.
110% correct.
Right. But yeah, Director Smithy, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, before we got to get
Hey.
some Discord questions in.
Oh, sorry. I've totally forgot. Yeah, of course.
Or else Ambling Soul is going to have us by the throat. So
We don't want anyone
Totally
getting
forgot.
upset at running time.
Yeah,
so
yeah. Let's not
I
miss
can
that.
rapid fire this. Yeah. I think I'll answer her question.
So we'll start first. Jeremy Miller wants to go. Favorite actor you've worked with?
Oh, Pinhead is real, and the Cenobites are real. And whenever you make a Hellraiser film, and I made Hellraiser 4, you actually get the box and open it and just start directing those guys. And it's interesting because they won't kill or attack the crew, but the actors are fair game. So those guys get their flesh ripped off, basically. But anyway, Pinhead's a great guy.
Did you guys hear that thunder?
I did hear it.
Is that because I just summoned Pinhead?
I think so. I think God was angry with you right there.
I think that was plain.
Anyway, I also directed Cheech Marin once. He's a good guy too.
And then we have Justin Turner. He goes, Smithy, what is the movie you could have directed that you wish you had?
Oh, I was going to direct The Mist, the Stephen King movie. And if I had directed it, it would have been more or less like a little better because I don't know. I like that movie and all, but the ending of that movie did not work for me at all. And if they had I don't know if you guys know all this, and we don't want to spoil anything, but The Mist is a pretty darn good movie. It just needs some tooling, and I would be the one to fix that broken movie.
100%.
Frank Darabont's okay. Shawshank Redemption's okay. God. Anyway.
And then we have the Drunken Master himself. He wants to know approximately how many baseball caps do you own?
Well, technically, I don't know if this counts as a baseball cap, but it's a ball cap. I don't know. But I think about 10 or so. I get the Goonies, Raiders, Top Gun, an alien hat. I get a really awful Star Wars hat. It's hard to describe, but it's very awful. It doesn't say Star Wars anywhere, and it's just really ugly. But anyway.
Does it say a Star Wars?
Yes, more or less. No. It's just pictures, but you have to look. Plus, sometimes hats have the thing too high. This one, for instance, just looks crappy. It makes it look like I'm a cone head. But anyway, but thank you, Drunken Prayer.
And from our last question from Ambling Soul, so she doesn't fire us, she wants to know, what movie would you cast the Patreon members in, and who would play what parts?
So I'll pretend I haven't already thought about this. No, I think that we're going to do a Predator movie, and it's going to be a post-apocalyptic San Diego, and John Roca is going to be assimilated by a predator into becoming a new outlaw predator. And the Patreon are the soldiers that have to go after him. I was going to put Soul as the #1 survivor because, it's usually a dude like Schwarzenegger or Adrian Brody. But let's let the ladies have a chance. And Boggs, you can be like a secondary leader. Mike, I think you would be a good munitions guy. So you're like the tech out the bombs and the explosives.
I'm the guy
Maria is an assassin. So Maria is basically like the expert assassin killer, and various other people. Drunken Prayer will be like our game over, man kind of guy, you know. You guys might all get killed except for Soul. She gets to survive. But I think that would be a cool movie. And John Roca is the Predator, you know. Come on. He could be, yeah, that'll be awesome.
I see the talent. I see the, you know, you've envisioned everything. You just need it on a storyboard. I think you can get that.
This is why he's the director.
Right.
There you go. That's the way it works.
I especially like the part that I live.
Yeah. Soul is the final girl. But you could be the final woman. No more final girl. Final woman. Yeah. Anyway. And Boggs, I'm sorry, but you're going to get bisected. That means your whole body
there's always
is
a brown guy that gets killed off, right? I'll be that guy.
Well, but it'll happen at the end. You're the last person before Soul takes
Mexican
out the Roca Outlaw Predator. So yeah, that's fine.
Got it.
Cool.
Hey, but a brown person survives me. So I mean,
yeah.
And I'm also in the movie.
Yeah. But Shay, you just get straight up blown up, and like an explosion happens, and you're just gone. There's nothing left. So. Yeah,
no, it's kind of like what's going to happen to you in our trivia match.
Oh man!
Damn.
But that was the final question, Boggs.
Getting into my head on show live. Okay,
ladies and gentlemen, firstly, we'll say goodbye to the director. Thank you so much for coming on, sir. You're very talented, very humble for appearing on our show. Is there anything you'd like to sign off with? Anything you'd like to plug or promote?
Well, I call some matches now in the Outlaw Nation Trivia League, as well as playing in the Outlaw Nation Trivia League, which Mike just mentioned. And, you know, you can always find me, you know, running away from various reporters and fans in the streets of Los Angeles. And don't try to stop me. I'm too famous to talk to you all directly. You guys are cool, but like everyone else in LA, just, you know, stare in awe and pay $30 for the autograph. And then
he accepts, you know, PayPal, Vima, anything like that, and we'll get you
big
cameo
bags
as well.
Of change. If you got a big bag of change, but there's $30 worth of change, I'll take it.
Sure.
Anyway.
But yeah, thanks so much for coming.
Exactly. That's how I deal with
Thanks so much, director, for coming on, and we shall see you in the chats on the next episode. Anyway, that's been the Ultimate Shmana After Show. Obviously, we covered Titans. We, you know, met the Patreon. And that's it. So thank you so much for watching, tuning in. Mike, anything you want to plug, sign off with?
Just follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Mr. Mike Shea. Check out my podcast, The Basement Lounge, and I'm booking comedy dates. So if you want me in your city, go to my website, MrMikeShea.com, and you can request me to come to your city through my website.
Beautiful. And he also charges $30 an autograph. But so, anything you would like to, anything you'd like to sign off with?
I just want to plug that Dom says he'll produce that movie, so we might have this actually going for us in the chat. And Tushka says, so no natives, cool, because you could be in the movie, Tushka.
Sounds good. You know, like a little animation or something. Tushka, you're the graphics guy. Get that done, and yeah, sounds good. But yeah, just follow us on Twitter. Like you see on screen there, like the video as well, comment after the fact, after we're done, we'll give you a shout out on the next episode. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching. You know, of course, join the Patreon. You know, all us playing the Trivia League, you know, there's hangouts there and all that stuff. So that's patreon.com/John Roca. Yeah, catch us next week for the next Friday Night Titans review. Hopefully guests. If not, we'll meet another Patreon. But anyway, thank you everyone so much for watching the Ultimate Shmona After Show. And hopefully Mike Shea can learn from Low Mrs. Dancing and sign us off with a there we go with a better dance. But thanks everyone. We'll catch you on the next episode.